Gomantak di Goa, the land created by the arrow of Lord Parshurama, is blessed with ample rainfall from the southwest monsoons. They set in the state from the month of June to September. The unique hill slope topography, the Western Ghats, located in the east, obstruct the low moving clouds from the southwestern direction. The rich forest enhance the condensation of the clouds, which lead to copious rainfall of over 160 inches in this region. But the same hill slope topography facilitates the drainage of water quickly into the sea, leading to water shortage in summer. This is a story of a river basin of River Valvanti. Various nalas originate from micro watersheds of the Western Ghats such as Kosti and their confluence to Valvanti. The river has a catchment of 98.58 square kilometers and a yield of 400 million cubic meters, of which most of the water used to flow into the sea in a village called Viradi in Sankelim. This river is notoriously known for flooding the town of Sankelim, which always kept creating havoc in the people living on the banks and the downstream. The locals were so used to this that they would shift or even leave their homes during the monsoons. This river would cause devastating floods in the rainy season, and the same river would go dry in summer. The name Valvanti means dry river, which has a lot of sand deposits. The entire area in the catchment of the river used to suffer due to the lack of drinking and irrigation water. The river used to support a 5 MLD water supply plant located at Padoshi in Sankelim. With an unique and multi-pronged initiative of the Water Resources Department over the years has turned around the water balance of the area. Once a water deficit water basin, now supplies water for over 2,100 hectares of agricultural land and about 100 MLD of water for drinking purpose. Soon after the liberation of Goa, the Central Water Commission was engaged by the government of Goa to identify a suitable location for storing water to cater the agricultural and drinking water needs. A dam site was identified at Anjuna village across the river Kosti in Sateri Taluka of North Goa district, where the survey and the investigation commenced. An implementable proposal was prepared and the construction of Anjuna irrigation project commenced in the year 1962. The sad gravity masonry dam is of 176 meter length and 42.8 meters height, envisages to impound about 44.83 million cubic meters of water to irrigate 2,100 hectares of land. At the downstream of the sand dam, a pickup weir and 2 canals were constructed which could carry water for irrigation of about 2,600 liters per second. The irrigated water after irrigation drains back to the river, thus making the river perennial. Once the river became perennial, the government started enhancing the drinking water pumping capacity from 3 MLD to present 80 MLD. This situation could not hold for too long to cater the increased demand, and the water was pumped and supplied to Bardez, Bicholim and Sankeli areas. Practically, most of North Goa depended on this water. The Water Resources Department initiated a project for the construction of a series of bandaras on the river to hold and store water within the banks. Under this scheme, the department constructed a series of bandaras at various locations, thereby making additional storage of about 6 lakh cubic meters of water. At locations such as Goteli, Haldisakorn, Dangarwada, Morlem, Chinswada, Poirem, Tulsimal, Podeshi, Sankeli and Viridi, which supported in strengthening the water supply and irrigation requirements for 90 days in the lean months of March, April and May. This unique scheme of bandaras not only recharged the groundwater but energized and activated the springs which used to go dry by summer. The system evolved has increased the water detention period in the river basin and brought a turnaround in the water availability in the catchment. The wells which once went dry now have a lot of water. Springs have energized and drained water continuously. This has resulted into enhanced flow of the river and enough availability of water for drinking and irrigation. The discharge in the river at its outfall at Sankeli Bandara has increased from needle supply to 600 liters per second. With the ever-rising demand of water, impetus on industrialization in Amona, Bicholim and Harvalim, mining activities have put a lot of pressure on the water supply. The existing drinking water supply plants of 800 MLD were unable to supply water to heavy industries whose requirement of water was very high. As these industries are the backbone of the state economy and they provide jobs to hundreds and thousands of people, to help the industries to flourish further, the government was ordered to find a solution to the problem. The demand of these industries was about 600 MLD, which could not be given from the river where it had sweet water, as it would lead to heavy pressure on the water supply system, and that in turn would lead to a situation. The department came out with a unique structure of salinity intrusion at a place called Makadshani at the downstream of Sankelim town. This structure stopped the entry of saline water from the tidal affected river from the downstream and stored fresh water on the upstream. This structure stores about 720,000 cubic meters of water. This water is now lifted and supplied to the industrial estate at Amona to the extent of 600 MLD, giving a revenue of about rupees 14 crores per year to the state exchequer. Apart from this, it has supported the companies to grow and further provide hundreds of jobs to the local youth. This development over the year has ushered a socio-economic development of the villages and the region. Once an illiterate and backward region is now developed into a semi-urban character in all the measurable parameters. While the concern of water shortage was addressed, a parallel department was working on the flood mitigation project, studying the behavior of the catchment area, type and fury of the flow, and also the effect of the hydraulic conditions where the river meets the tidal affected river. On completion of the scientific studies, the department posed a detailed project report to the Government of India for funding. After a thorough examination by the Central Water Commission, the Ministry of Water Resources, Government of India sanctioned an amount of rupees 22.5 crores in the year 2008. The department implemented this unique scheme of flood mitigation project and the river training works for holding the flood within the banks. This has become a model scheme in the Central Water Commission, wherein the other state engineers are implementing it in their states. This is a success story of the watershed management, the river basin treatments and flood mitigation and salinity control.